Good morning. It's early. 6:47, and I've been up for almost pardon me, almost 2 hours. So yeah. Let me see. What can I tell you? Where I am still going forward with the YouTube channel. This will be posted on the YouTube channel, and yeah, I know. I look like an idiot with this on, but trust me, it works. Ah. So yeah, I'm going forward with the YouTube channel, and I got a bunch of great ideas. The channel, I don't know if I'm going to change the name of the channel on the channel, but the show is going to be called Wide Open. Wide Open being no specific format, meaning if I get a guest, if I get somebody on camera or on the phone line, then that will be how the show rolls, and we'll do some of the regular things that we have been doing at that time. Like hopefully we'll start making up a list of things we will continue to do on a regular basis. It won't be just sports or complaints or this or that. It will be kind of structured stuff. So I still don't have a working video camera. A nice lady donated one, and I connected it to the computer and couldn't get it to work. It may be my computer being old. So I'm going to look into that. I also have another computer I can hook up here, so that's an option. And I got that as a donation as well. So I'm hoping that, unfortunately, I don't have funds. I don't have the money to back up anything right now. And some of you know why. And again, I'm trying to make things work. This show is going to be, if I can get it to that point, be something to more than anything keep my mind busy, which has been working. So for the last little while, despite the fact that somebody called the police on me on New Year's Day, and I believe I know who it was, and they told the police that I was going to harm myself, or they thought that I was going to harm myself. Well, I think pretty much anyone that has known me for a while knows. Nah. But it's been, it's been hard, and I kind of promised that I wouldn't be talking about, those kind of things here unless somebody asks. But I just thought I'd let you know because, I've kind of made light of it on my Facebook page. Yeah, so the RCMP showed up, knocked on my door 5 minutes after I got back in. So the person that called knew that I was out. Okay, so, yeah, so, let me see now. So they came by. The first thing they said was, "Don't worry, you're not in trouble." And I thought, okay, that's not a problem. I knew that I wasn't in trouble. I didn't do anything. But they told me why they were there, and they gave me a phone number to call if I needed, and just kind of talked. And one of the officers said his brother was going through medical issues that I'm going through, and he kind of understands the stress and the issues that come along with that. So it was an okay chat, and I'm actually, I'll be honest with you, glad to see that that kind of thing happens, that that our local law enforcement do respond to calls like that, and do like, these guys are really nice, and that in itself, the fact that they are checking up on people during the holidays that others think that need that support, then that's a good thing. If it is who I think it is, and it wouldn't surprise me, but if it is who I think it is, then it will stay that way, and I won't bother with that person anymore. Let me see here. Yeah, I got the computer on and it's going. I also had somebody suggest that it's kind of better to have something going on in the background so that I can look at it, so I'm not just staring into the camera. So that's what I'm doing. I got the screen on. I'm tinkering away here, and I will probably even later in this show have some music and talk about a couple of songs, kind of give them a review, kind of test that out, because that was a suggestion as well. Hey man, review some songs, from a prominent resident of Los Angeles. Yeah, I'm not kidding. No, Mr. LA. Yeah, he's already subscribed to my channel. And that's another thing too. I need subscribers. I need people to subscribe that are interested in the shows, interested in participating. Like, I've had actually good responses from people who would like to come on and talk, and and just kind of either have a subject that they'd like to talk about. So there's that option. Also, because I'm not mooching, but because I want to build this up and I want to, want it to be better and better. I'm openly looking for sponsors. So if you want to help out and think, okay, well, he needs this or that, and or put a few bucks, into it. I will advertise. I'll advertise your cause or your business. So whatever you're putting into it, you're kind of getting back. So that's what's going on. I really want to get it up and running soon. In the long run, build up, to the point that it's too big for YouTube and needs to go to an actual podcast. Now, on my Facebook channel, I have the DJ by Nature Shut Up and Dance, DJ by Nature radio group, and that is strictly music. And I'd like people to subscribe to that. Subscribe just means joining the group, and all it is playlists of music. This will amaze a lot of people. I will even take requests. So if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, you know what, I wouldn't mind listening to this and that while I'm working. And actually, I think that's what I think I'm going to do, is I'm going to get some music started here. And through the DJ by Nature radio page. And that will be going on in the background. A little, not loudly, but just so you know that it exists. And I think I'm almost, I lose count but I think I'm almost at 50 episodes, and that's like, episode meaning like a genre or artist or whatever, a posting. So we'll click on the DJ by Nature. Yeah, okay. Well, I got the DJ by Nature open now. I gotta shut a couple things down. Down. Oh, I closed the wrong thing. Down. Okay. Oh, geez. No, that's not right. Oh, well. So I'm gonna get some music up. I posted some stuff overnight. DJ Barry Harris just remixed Shining Star by Earth, Wind and Fire, and I've got it posted on DJ by Nature Radio. Oh, is it ever good? Like the original Earth, Wind and Fire version is great, but this just picks it up just enough, and it's cool. So I posted that. Yesterday I posted Queen's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. There's something that's listed as Lumpy's Alternative Cha-Cha, Part 1. There's a little bit of a story behind that. When I was on my training at Dundurn, Saskatchewan, there was a guy, not on my course, but he was there. I think he was taking it might have been the driver's course or TQ2 30 cal and 50 cal. It's been years, but anyways, his name was Darren Crosney, and Crosney with a K, Krozney, I think. And at the end of training, I guess because he took some training on course, offered himself up to drive a Jeep in a convoy from Dundurn back to Winnipeg. And there was a breakdown on the highway. One of the Deuce and a Halves didn't have an accident, but came to an abrupt halt. The one behind it stopped as well. The next vehicle was a Jeep, and they pulled to the right. The next vehicle was a Jeep, and they pulled to the left. And Darren was driving the third Jeep and had nowhere to turn, and hit the back end of the Deuce and a Half, the 6-wheel drive Deuce and a Half, the big troop carriers. So he didn't make it. And but Darren and it's been so long. Darren and a couple of other friends were were influenced a lot by punk music and alternative. And whenever there was a social for us on base, these guys went out, and they had a ball. These guys who would do things like pretend they were the Stray Cats, and they'd all be playing air band instruments, or they'd all line up on the floor as if they were in sculls, like rowing, like a rowing team, and do that. And it just, one time there was a guy in our barracks that was a pain in the ass. No, no, it wasn't me. And they took his bed apart, like they took his bed sheets off. They had bought dehydrated minnows, and they sewed minnows. Put the minnows in water, soaking them up. When they were loose enough, they sewed them to the bed sheet. And there must have been well over 100 on the bed sheet, and they sewed them to the bed sheet, and then they put the bed sheet back on the bed. They made the bed, and they put a sticker, like a big post, on his locker, and it said, "Caution, do not open locker stocked with 50,000 trout fingerlings," and poured some water around the floor and kind of made it look like something was in there. And this guy was freaked out. It was priceless. I'd never seen anything like it before, but this is the kind of thing these guys did, kind of nuts, but and fun, not harmful. Like there was stuff that went on there that summer that was horrible, really bad, but these guys were fun. And I wasn't on course with them, but I don't know, I was kind of a misfit, kind of like them, and got along with them. So the alternative playlist is kind of in honor of Crosney, because I don't know, I never really been interested in alternative or punk or anything. The next list is going to have more 80s punk in it, but this one's kind of more alternative and like alternative rock. So that's what I think. That's what we'll play, because it's pretty cool. I like it. So I'll have that playing in the background here in a moment. And if you join the DJ, oh geez, I think you hear that, right? Okay, I'm just gonna turn it like that. I don't know if you can hear it. Just gonna leave it like that. I hope it's not too loud, but anyways. So you join the DJ by Nature group. All you do is you click on one of the icons with the lips zipped, and it says "Shut Up and Dance." It will open up that episode, and you just scroll down and click play. What I do is I minimize it, and I put it at the bottom of my screen, and I go about my business and do whatever I'm gonna do. Just kind of moving stuff around so that I can just a minute here. Oh, okay. Well, so yeah, I kind of screwed that up, but that's okay. So that's the DJ by Nature group. And if there's stuff that you like that I haven't posted, or that I don't particularly like, go ahead and send me a message, or tell me what it is that you want to hear, and I can do that. I can make playlists as to whatever you want. There we go. So yeah, okay. So I got a list of things that I'm gonna start doing. Talk about things we're gonna talk about. What I think we're gonna do today, and I'm gonna shoot from the hip on this. I didn't write it down because I thought it would just be kind of, robotic to see me reading a list. So, what it's going to be, what we're going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a list, just off the top of my head, and this will be how we will do some shows, or a idea for a show. Top fives, or along that line. So let's start with something different. Let me see. Top five. Let's see. And who, if I bring a guest on, the guest can pick what top fives they want to do, and I'm suggesting maybe 10 top fives, and then maybe the opposite, top fives that you have, the top fives that you like, and then the top fives that you don't like. So drinks, top five drinks. Okay, if you were to ask me, I don't drink alcohol. I very rarely drink alcohol or beer. But if I was to have something to drink, I don't even drink pop anymore. I drink carbonated water, that bubbly, BUBLY. I know somebody that thinks I'm drinking cases and cases of pop because the bubbly stuff comes in aluminum cans, but it's not pop, it's carbonated water. So I like that, and it's good. It's okay for me to drink. So I drink that. I either drink the lime version, which is like 7-Up, or orange, or black cherry. There's other flavors. There's grapefruit that didn't work for me. I want to turn that up just a little bit. There we go. I don't like the grapefruit. The strawberry's not bad. Apparently there's a mango. I'd like to try that. There's a lemon. That wouldn't be bad. But I like that. I don't think I could rate that in the top five, meaning in order, but that's one. I like Crystal Light iced tea, and I put a little bit of peach mango flavor in it, like that water enhancer stuff in the little tiny plastic, containers. And so that's two. That iced tea with the peach mango flavor is a real big favorite of mine. But I've cut back on that too. I might have, like I use the plastic Nestea jugs to make the iced tea, and I might go through one of those every 3 days. So I think that's not bad. So that's 2. 3, I like water. I actually like water. Again, that's something I have to watch as well. I can't drink gallons and gallons of water, and contrary to popular belief, drinking tons of water may help you clear things out, but in the long run, it's not great for your kidneys, no matter who you are. Okay, so that's 3. 4. Okay, let's go to alcohol. If I was to drink, if I was to have a drink, my favorite has always, since 1989, has been Southern Comfort with ginger ale and a slice of lime, specifically that way. Southern Comfort is actually classified as a liqueur. So yeah, diabetic Debbie here, can't drink it. I'm not a big alcohol drinker anyways, but I can't. That's not something I can drink anymore. Yeah, and it's nice. It's a sipping drink. I picked that up years ago. It's nice. It's not something that you would have, 5 or 10 or 20 of in a night. It's just here and there kind of thing. So it kind of suits me. And if I was to have a beer, geez, long time ago it was Coors. What the heck was it? Coors Extra Light Gold, which we never got in Canada. So, or Coors. I was never a big Coors Light fan. Not a big Budweiser fan. Not a big beer fan. Anyways, I love Corona. I'll drink a Corona. What's that? My buddy gives me a hard time about it. Sleeman's, Sleeman, Sleeman's, not Siemens. Sleeman's. I think it's Golden Ale or Honey Roasted Ale. I like that. So, if I'm out somewhere and somebody offers and I feel like it, that's what I'll have. So that's drinks. I mean, it's pretty easy to go through 5 that I don't like, and 5 that I don't like would be tomato juice, Jack Daniels. That's a story for another time. I'm not a coffee drinker, so that'd be 3. Tea I don't mind, but I'm not drinking that much anymore. I love grapefruit juice, but again, something I can't really drink. I don't know. I can't come up with a 5th one, but that's where we are with that. Let's do another one here. Let's see. TV. Yeah. Well, I watch a lot of TV. Maybe too much. But lately, sure, there's tons of shows that I like, and there's tons of shows that I've loved over the years. I can always watch an episode of MASH. MASH will always be entertaining to me, even if I've seen the episode 100 times. MASH, since I was a kid, since it came out, since it was on the air, that was a big favorite of mine. MASH. Let's see. Old shows. I was never a Seinfeld guy, but I don't mind the show. I was never a Friends guy, but I don't mind the show. I like My Name is Earl. I love Saturday Night Live. I love SCTV. Those are old shows, yeah, for sure. But those are favorites of mine. So there's a few that I like. What I'm watching lately, because I'm lucky and I have an Android box, so that runs off the internet, and I can watch pretty much any show that's ever been aired anywhere, live or recorded. Lately, I've been liking what the heck is it called now? Not Southern Justice. Oh, Lone Star Law. I like that. I like Dr. Pole. Dr. Pole, his favorite word is jeepers. I like Dr. Pole. Some of the things that you see on there are kind of gross. Like I watched the episode last night, and a horse had a weeping eye, and the lady brought the horse in and said, "Oh, my horse has a swollen eye, and there seems to be fluid coming out of the horse's nose." The doctor looked at it and he says, "It's infected, and that's pus coming out of his nose." So the doctor looks at him, checks him out, gets a drill and drills into the sinus cavity of the nose, like in between the eyes and the nostrils, like midway into the bone. And as soon as he does that, well, it starts to drain. Let's just put it politely like that. But yeah, you see some crazy stuff on there, and a lot of times I find myself hiding behind my hands because a lot of it it's not pretty. So those are two that I'm currently enjoying. I like Young Sheldon. I love Young Sheldon. I like Young Sheldon better than The Big Bang Theory. I guess because it's the old days. It's the old days. Based in the 80s. There was another show that was on last season. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like The Goldbergs, and The Goldbergs is a show based in the 80s. I love that show. But this was based in the 70s, and the premise of this was they had 1, 2, 3, 4, I think they had 5 boys. And the parents were, as they say, typical 70s parents. The boys, I just remember one episode. The mother came in the room, the boys were in the living room, and the youngest was standing on top of the television, and the younger brother, or the other brothers, were behind him, hitting him with a belt. And you'd see her come in and you'd figure, oh, she's gonna be peed off because he's standing on the TV. Nope, she was peed off because they might fall and knock the pictures off the wall. Not they might fall and hurt each other, or they were hurting each other, and that's kind of their thing. It was a good show, but the guy from The Walking Dead, Red, the military guy with the red hair, what's his name? Michael Cudlitz was the father on that. It was real. I liked it. I didn't miss it, but that's not on anymore. Another one I liked that never made it, and I thought was hilarious, and a lot of other people did, was The Muppet Show. No, The Muppets. It was on just a few years ago, just like maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and it only lasted one season. And the premise of that was the Muppets had a network show on ABC, and Miss Piggy was the star, and everyone else worked around it. Kind of like the old Muppet Show, but more scripted, more like a storyline kind of thing. And that's where I got to love Pepe, the prawn shrimp. Pepe, the king prawn, that's it, Pepe. Yeah, he just makes me laugh. So that was one that I loved. Again, I said My Name is Earl. Couldn't get myself enough of that. And the guy from My Name is Earl, what's his name? Ethan Suplee? He played Randy. Well, on the show, like a long time ago, he was on he was on Remember the Titans. He was a big huge guy, and in the years from that until my name is Earl, he continued losing weight. Well, I haven't seen him for, I think it was a couple years, and I just saw a post and I posted it on my Facebook where he in the last 2 years he got extremely serious about his health, and he's just jacked. He looks like a Navy SEAL. You know, I'm not kidding. He's just pumped. He's just like in awesome shape, which is great to see. You know, a guy that struggled with his weight for so long to not have to play the fat guy anymore. So that was cool. So my name is Earl is one. Currently, let me see. I'm trying to think. I'll watch wrestling, but I watch about 5 minutes of it, and then I realize it's the same thing every week, and it's really, really repetitive. I have been watching some MMA, the UFC stuff. I like next weekend. Next weekend is the return of Conor McGregor, and he's fighting Cowboy. So that's I'll watch that. I've been watching it a lot lately. The last pay-per-view they had was really good, really good fights. The ladies' fight was probably one of the ladies' fights was probably the best of the night, and the main event was exceptionally good as well. I can't remember the one guy's name, but this other guy is the fighter that promotes himself as, you know, Donald Trump's biggest fan. He's really Covington, I think, is his name, and he just got beat to a pulp. They figure he broke his jaw in the fight, and he just kept on fighting. You know, that's tough. So yeah, I'll do that. Trying to think what other shows I watch. You know, it's kind of a mix. You know, it depends how I feel. I like the Connors, the offshoot from Roseanne, which, you know, I was never a big Roseanne fan, but I like this. I like the Connors. So the Goldbergs, that's a must. No real specifics on regular network TV. But those are some of my favorites. I don't think I could turn around and say there's stuff that I don't like. Well, I tried watching the Kardashian show once, and no, it's not for me. So kind of hard to pick shows that you don't like if you don't watch, right? Well, let me see. What else have I got here? Well, we talked about sports before, so we can do the other stuff. Movies. Oh, okay, movies. Top 5 movies off the top of my head with my hood and my headset. Movies. My favorite movie of all time. I'd have to say Forrest Gump. I loved Forrest Gump, and it came out. I watched the movie, and then I bought the novel, read the novel. The novel's a little different, a little more detail, and loved it. Just loved it. I still got some memorabilia stored away here from the movie when it was released. Actually, when it came out, I got a bunch of free stuff, swag they call it, and I remember I got an actual box of chocolates Mama's Chocolates, and it was special edition from the movie premiere. So that was cool, and I got that, and I gave it to Mom and Dad, and I'm pretty sure that it, wasn't opened and it got tossed out, but it was cool to get. I got the movie poster. I've got some pins and stickers. I would have loved to get a Bubba Gump hat. But that's a movie, again, I could watch, and I could watch it again and again and again. And that kind of reminds me, Gladiator. That's another one. Again and again and again. Gladiator. I love Gladiator. Not a big Russell Crowe fan, but I think that's just a great movie for him, and he did it so well. That line, and I used to know it by heart. I could repeat it. Was Maximus Aurelian, and the whole bit there. I can't do it anymore. So that's one. The Crow is another. I'll watch anytime. And enjoy it. It's kind of weird because the movie came out. I didn't see it right away, and I went to see it I went to see it on my birthday, and my birthday is October 30th. So when you watch the movie, in the very beginning it says it takes place on October 30th. Devil's Night, or what we used to call Gate Night. That kind of spooked me, and then the idea of being murdered, being wronged, and coming back to settle score really soaked in to me. And then of course it was Brandon Lee, and I was a big Bruce Lee fan, and became a Brandon Lee fan before he passed. And they say, being, I guess, the industry and reporters, whatever, say that he would have become a huge star. That would have been his opening up to, to superstardom. Kind of like the Batman movie with Heath Ledger, playing the Joker. That they say that was he was on his way to becoming a massive star just from that performance. And that's another thing that reminds me, the most recent Joker movie, the Joker, or is it called The Joker or Joker, is excellent. I'll tell you this, if you haven't seen it, don't expect a superhero kind of, bang around, fighting, that kind of deal. It's not what it's about. And it's more about how anyone could lose their way, could kind of just lose grip on everything around them and become, mentally deranged. And that's what happens. It's no secret. But you can watch that movie and not even realize that it's a DC Comics story, that it's a story about a so-called supervillain. And really, if you think about it, probably the most famous supervillain, from the comics, is the Joker. And I've never been a huge Joaquin Phoenix fan. Uh, he was easy to hate in uh, Gladiator. I personally did not like him in the Johnny Cash movie. I didn't. I don't know. It didn't work for me. But I think if you can handle the violent undertone of what happens in that movie, watch The Joker. I can't see why that wouldn't win him an Academy Award. If you have Netflix, watch Dolomite. Dolomite is my name. That's Eddie Murphy. And everyone thinks, oh, Eddie Murphy, it's not going to be that good. It's really good. It's not so much a comedy. Well, it is. It's kind of funny, but it's about a real guy, Rudy Ray Moore, and Rudy Ray Moore was what they call an underground comic in the 70s. Never really found his way into big stardom, but was famous for being the dirtiest of dirty. And that was his thing. And there was Rudy Ray Moore, and there was Dolomite, and that was his character, Dolomite, who was night and day from who Rudy Ray Moore was. And Rudy Ray Moore was just looking for an identity, kind of like Andrew Dice Clay, his character. But Andrew Dice Clay became his character. That's who he is. He lives that day in, day out. That's who he is. But Dolomite is my name was very good. I liked The Irishman, the story about Jimmy Hoffa. I liked it, but it was too long. Really, it was too long. I think that they could have cut at least the first hour out, and still had a great movie. But it was a pet project of Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, and they've been trying to do this movie for years, but they wouldn't do. De Niro said he wouldn't do it unless he got Joe Pesci, and Joe Pesci. That's a deep story. Nothing bad, but he retired from movies. I don't remember what it was that he did the Lethal Weapon stuff, and he didn't do much after that, and he just got tired with it, and he retired. Mind you, I know for a fact that he had plastic surgery done on his face, and it looked horrible. So maybe that was part of it. You don't know. Hey. I like Pesci is excellent in this movie, and he's not an annoying prick. He's very good. And Pesci usually plays that guy you can't stand, and that's not him in this movie. But he's very good in this movie. Worth seeing, but I think it was too long. They could have told the story without at least an hour. And again, it's the story about the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa and the truth behind it, the real truth of what happened to him. And it ties into the Kennedy assassinations, which reminds me another show that I watch and loved. It was just kind of chance finding it. It's called The Godfather of New York, and that's Forrest Whitaker, and he's brilliant in that. And that he plays Bumpy Johnson, a real guy, and it's all based on real people. And he is the crime boss of Harlem. And his enemy, sworn enemy, is the Chin. I can't remember, is Vincenzo something, or a real mobster back from the 60s and into the 70s. He was the guy that, if you follow the mafia stories, he was the guy that claimed they claimed he was insane, and he would walk up and down the streets of New York in a bathrobe and in pajamas and look just disheveled, and it was all a play, so that the authorities would leave him alone because they thought he was insane. But this show, again, The Godfather of New York, Godfather of Harlem, is hard to find because you either have to have a satellite dish or you have to have a Android box in Canada, and it's on a network called Epix, EPIX, Epix. And that show is excellent, and it tells the story of Bumpy Johnson and the plight of his race, the Negroes in the 60s, how they were treated, and it also involves a main character in the show is Malcolm X, and the Nation of Islam is involved in the show, as in the storyline, and of course, the mob, the Italian mob. Really, really good. I thought it was great, and it's the first season. I hope there's more. But those are some of the shows I watch, and I guess there's not really a way to say that you hate anything or you dislike shows, because if you dislike them, you don't watch them. Guilty pleasure is Alaskan bush people. I'm sorry, but it's just, I can see it being possible, but there's so much untruth to that. Like, they live in the bush and they don't have anything, but in the off seasons they all live in Los Angeles in big houses or big homes and have lots of money. This season, and I read this somewhere online a week or two ago, that they're on Discovery Channel, and Discovery Channel is paying them bigger money to have all the siblings get married. No, not to each other. But from last season into this season, two of the boys are married now. One of them has a child, and the second, his wife is pregnant. The self-described most extreme man on television, Bear, the I want to say something rude, but the nut that's climbing trees and always howling and thinks he's a bushman, and he finds a girlfriend, and spoiler alert, it doesn't work out. if you watch the show, you'll find out. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out. But the two older brothers, it's not in the story yet. But the older brothers have, one of them is married, and that will come about probably at the end of this season or next season, beginning of next season, and the other one has a girlfriend. So. But I don't know what's going to happen to the girls. Again, a friend of mine suggested, he thought that they were all going to marry each other and produce, children with three eyes, But, I mean, the youngest one, I think, might be 15 or 16. And then the older girl, I think she's 20. So she's ready, but I don't know. Anyways, that's a guilty pleasure. I like watching it. And the parents aren't on the show that much anymore. Billy had a very severe health scare in the last season, and you don't see him anymore. They're still on there, and the mother went through battle with cancer. As far as I know, it's in remission, but who knows? They don't talk about them that much anymore. They're on the show. They show up now and then, but they're not on there all the time. Let's see. So those are the shows. Unfortunately, we lost another rock and roll icon in the past week. I don't think they announced what day it was, but I did find out that Neil Peart passed away of brain cancer. And I kind of wonder if Rush, finished touring, no recording for a few years now, but a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years. I kind of wonder if that was the trigger. I can imagine that Alex and Geddy knew about this. But they were, what are you going to do? They didn't handle it. They handled it. It was handled well. It was handled with grace, the proper way. And he was an extremely private person. And I have a story about him coming up. But sad because, I mean, if you ask Americans, to name a Canadian rock and roll band, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say Rush, And I mentioned to a friend recently, and this is before Neil passed away, was that one of the things I liked about them is that their music always seems to be ageless, like you could play any one of their songs and you really couldn't put a date to it, like, oh, okay, this must have been 1973, or well, you can't do that. It all sounds relevant to today. And they're a 3-piece band that sounds massive. They sound enormous. And I mean, there's other, like, the Stray Cats are a 3-piece band, and they don't sound like that. But then again, they're a different kind of music. The Police, 3-piece band, they sound great, but not that power. But because Rush is a rock band, that's power. And by Jesus, that they call him the Professor, because he was just amazing drummer. I remember seeing, it might have been in one of their documentaries, but I remember seeing that maybe 5 or 6 years ago, he decided, maybe even longer, he decided that he wanted to learn jazz drumming. Now, I mean, I played a little bit of drums when I was younger, not to the extent that others have, but jazz drumming is different than rock drumming. There's more skill. It's really a different style, and Neil had never played that, and I forget the name of the guy that taught him, but the guy that taught him was also a world-renowned drummer, but a jazz drummer, big band type of deal. And Neil, if you watch the David Letterman, that's another thing I miss Letterman. I miss Letterman, and I must miss Craig Ferguson. Craig Ferguson was great. Anyways, jazz drumming is so different than rock drumming. But if you watch the drum week that they had, that Neil Peart played on, you'll see him switch styles and do the jazz big band style. It's a different style of holding the sticks, and a different discipline, very different. Kind of like, kind of like you would see like a military style marching band, or like a